speaking of Mojo, what's going on with you? Because Valentine's Day is coming up.
I'm very much single, so there's actually nothing.
Well, okay, there's nothing happening, but what are there any potentials
No,
on the
there's no
horizon?
potential. But don't sound so shocked. There are no potentials there. That's not even a thing I'm thinking about in my life, like at all. I am so deeply on my healing journey. Healed.
Uh-huh.
I healed it.
I haven't healed.
I just don't want anybody in my space. I don't want space. And until I find that man who can be in my space, that I can tolerate.
Oh, see, that's the truth right there that you can tolerate because yes, we know you.
It's not that I like things in a particular way.
No, you do.
Just think about like it doesn't make sense. So why would you do?
Yeah.
I always run.
Yeah.
But what do you
Yes.
think?
I don't. For Valentine's Day, nothing because I, like you, am very single. Although I think about being unsingle 24/7, 365. It just hasn't happened yet because they can't handle all of this. I don't know what it is.
Somebody can. Somebody at some point can.
I hope so.
I'm not looking.
And seeing you'll probably end up getting one before me because you're not looking. That's how it always works. That's how it always works.
Okay, so I will say that I've been pitched, but I'm just not open to that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Pitch? You've been pitching 10 times? What?
People, people will still, hit on you and
Hit on. Because when I heard pitch child, I was not thinking about being hit on. I was, walking funny because things are happening. That's what I was thinking. I was not clear. I had to clarify. I needed clarification. Because, Jesus is here. So we cannot have, I was like, what? I'm just saying.
I'm not looking. So that's like,
And that, yeah. But see, because of that,
because I'm not looking, if I do, like people are making their play.
Yeah.
I don't know what the kids call it these.
I don't know. Making their play. We'll use that. That works. I mean, even though I'm only 27, I understand what you're saying. Yes. Represent youth.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
The youth.
Uh-uh.
I'm just not looking. So if you could be at the market all day.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, you know what that
after Valentine's Day.
Uh-huh.
Would be like a nice by St. Patrick's Day. Like that's a good.
Okay.
Spring coming up. Then you got the summer.
We live in Southern California, child. It will be spring in 2 weeks. It will be spring in 2 weeks.
Southern California still has this very, very cold winter, and I'm not all about it. It's like 40
cold
degrees at night.
At night, but during the day, we're in the 60s and the 70s. That's not winter.
Only like
that is not winter.
I want 8. Yeah. Night.
You want to be able to pull out your parka and sleep in your sleeping bag inside your house.
I want to be able to throw on less than a sweater.
Uh-huh.
Just maybe a t-shirt and just be outside. Go to a nice patio.
You can do that now.
It's a little rough. I've become very, very I've become a thin skin.
Yes. Or thin blood. Yeah.
Blooded.
Which is funny because you lived here for all of 2 years, 3 years?
3.
I've been here for like going on 13 years. And I still can go outside in 40 degrees at night.
I'm saying I prefer.
Okay. Prefer is different.
Now that the winter is here, I'm working on my winter art, doing my shit. And then, the spring hits, that's when everybody has, unwrapped from their cocoon. That's when the butterflies begin to make their way. So from that, you meet, the right people because spring is sprung. Everyone has fresh eyes.
But it's pumpkin season.
Yeah, that's the wrong pumpkin. Idiotic. Then you go through the summer. Idiotic. it's idiotic to cuff during the winter months. I'm not gonna be inside with somebody that I'm barely like know or like have that person, because when it's over, it's over. So why not go through like, okay, so I could see cuffing season as like serious season. Serious season. So this is the cycle.
Okay.
Winter are
Because apparently
winter
I
are
do not
you're working on yourself.
dog and plants, child. I do not know. Some of my plants are even older than my longest relationship, which shows you that, it's not long. Because, 3 months is nothing. Drop in the bucket.
3 months. Most people
No.
no. I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say, gay relationship, if they make it to 3 months, that's still a victory. And that's still some would consider a long term relationship. Especially,
Especially if you find out at the end of the day, it's all done, and there was no stretching. There was no, it was just like,
I don't know, I can't speak to that.
there you go.
I don't mean that in a flippant way. I don't know.
No.
If you would like to elaborate on it, I can't. I can't solve the problem, or I can't give an answer. But I'm happy to be a listening ear.
Well, I will say it like this because it happened more than once, which is really kind of crazy because it makes me think, wait a minute, am I not desirable? I don't know. I don't know.
Of course, you're not.
No. Oh, like on 3 different occasions that I was just like you. I dated and it went for like between 6 weeks to 3 months, but there was no intimacy. There's no kissing. It was like we dated. We went on dates. We had dates. They cooked for me. I cooked for them. But there was that next step didn't happen, and I'm like, okay, okay. So at the end of the day, I had dates that went over a prolonged period of time. But nothing. There was nothing that came out of it, even though with both people, we had like a um, intimate connection up here and here, but just no physicality. And then even when I was in New York, I thought that I was dating somebody, and you know, found out that I wasn't. And
Okay.
it was a mutual friend of ours that let me know that yeah, no. And I was like, oh, oopsie.
I didn't go through my cycle. I gotta go through my cycle.
Your cycle?
The cycle, because you said it's cuffing season.
Yeah.
So cuffing season.
Yes.
So cuffing season is serious.
Yeah.
And so you take so say you're single now, and it is October, going into November, you don't have anybody, you're going alone, Christmas, New Year's, you're working on yourself. You're getting yourself together. You are doing whatever it is that, you want to improve on yourself. Now that you want to improve about yourself, not for the sake of someone else, for the sake of yourself. So that the spring comes around, everybody's out, everybody's stepping out, doing the whole thing. You're dating, you're seeing people, you're going on, nice little dates to nice spring little. Summer comes, you get a little bit serious about it, get a little serious about it. You start to weed out all of the other people, and then boom, fall hits. Now it's time for cuffing season. So now you decided that this one person that you've been dating is cuffing season, and now you are set, and that is a relationship. Because from there, you date for like a year, or you're in a relationship for a year. It's that person because you know them now 2 years, and you've gotten to know them. That you decide to get get enough time. You have enough time to really know that person and hopefully be happy.
I've been working on myself for 27 years. 3 months is not enough.
We didn't say that if you haven't started the work. Like, there's some people have more work to do. Some people just need an updated bathroom.
No.
Some people just
Okay, that child, they got raise the ground, the building, and start a
well, then it's just gonna take a little bit longer. So you just gotta give a little 2 years.
Well, I'm just thinking, I might be carrying this baby right now, but my ovaries are like, what?
You're gonna have to give birth in a cab.
No, I prefer this.
A lift.
There you go.
Either way, some of those.
Adopt the baby son of it.
That brings up a good point. Standard. People's standards. But I was cutting you off about something. What were you saying?
No. Go to standards because I was just saying that I didn't see. Okay, to go back to the beginning. A friend of mine told me about cupping season. I had no idea that it was a real thing.
Oh.
I thought she had just invented a word. I was like, oh, it's cupping season. There's no cupping season. I had to Google it. And I was like, oh, cupping season is a thing. And this is what happens, right? So I didn't know, because Google did not tell me that there were rules attached.
There are no rules attached to it. But, you just know for most of the country, it's cold. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Even here, it's cold. You walk out 60 degrees, 55 degrees. I'm putting on a coat. I'm putting on a little sweater. My sweater collection has exploded since I've.
Are you kidding me?
Because in Chicago, you go from, okay, I can handle it, to shit, it's fucking cold out here.
Huh.
There's really no in between. The Hawk, I'm sorry, the Hawk is the name for like a really cold wind.
Yeah. No, we call it Mariah. Mariah. They call the wind. Mariah. It's so much shot.
Oh, no, I'll probably definitely.
Yeah.
I don't want any copyrighted. Like, boom.
We were under 8 bars.
I actually looked that up. I looked that up, and YouTube said, which was, I believe, the foremost authority.
Yes. Yeah.
That you have no right to anyone else copyrighted whatsoever, even to use it for anything. And if you're going to use it for fair use is determined in the judicial system. So the judge does. And so if you're going to do fair use, then
you're ready to go to court.
You're ready to go to, yeah.
That is
fair use.
That is.
Now, obviously, the millions of dollars that are coming in, I would be worried about. I imagine that's Sondheim, whoever.
Well, Sondheim, but
whoever wrote it.
Yeah.
You guys know all of the.
It's either from Paint Your Wagon or One Thing Shit. I can't remember. But yeah.
All wonderful plays, I imagine. Beautiful music.
Yeah.
But you were saying, I was talking about standards.
Yeah.
You were talking about.
No. Go back to standards.
People's standards, self-aware.
Yeah.
So if you have enough self-awareness, you should know where, when I say you, I don't mean you. A person should know. A person should know where they're, where they are in terms of, you can't. What am I asking of my partner if I cannot provide either something like that in return or something of value? I can't just bring. What am I showing up as how am I showing up and what am I giving of myself and bringing value that I to a relationship? So that is,
yeah, but then my question to you would be, at what point are you ready to answer that question? Because that you could be 99 and be like, you know what? Now I'm ready to give my partner something.
You could.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 99. So
who made that decision?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that person at 99 made that decision to either not himself or to not be aware of it. And so then, the decisions are the decisions.
Like, again, I'll be 30 soon, and I really don't have a lot of time to waste. I'm not trying to wait till I'm 90 something to, I guess, like, I understand what you're saying. And I do understand what you're saying.
Make those changes now.
But it's like, you don't have to say, get everything together before we have a baby, right? And the reality is that there's no perfect time.
There's no perfect.
So doesn't that kind of apply here with babies? There's no perfect time where everything just aligns. Like if you find somebody that really floats your boat in the now, do you put that stuff aside because you realize that, hey, this person, he's actually the guy I want? Or do you say, no, I can't do because I'm not ready yet?
Well, I don't want to be stuck in the I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about, like, my perspective is it's not me who is getting ready for him. It is me getting ready to be in a relationship that will be beneficial to both of us.
Yeah.
And so if I show up and I still have, you'll always have baggage. I'll always have.
Yeah.
But if a person shows up to a relationship and they haven't worked out their baggage, they haven't thought about going to therapy, they haven't, you could still get into a great relationship with, $100,000 and, but just know,
I want to know that person because they were able to get a limit that a lot.
yeah, $100,000 credit card debt. So you could do that, but then also turn around, marry someone who is very, very structured with their dollars. But if the point being that if I want to have a thriving relationship, I want to make sure I'm showing up the best person for the best person that I hope they are.
Okay, because that now is the other half of the equation. Because you can't work on them; they have to work on them.
Right.
So when it comes to them coming to you, separate of attraction, because obviously you'd be attracted to.
I'm sorry. Do you think I'm just dismissing these men outright? Just as soon as they walk up, I just get out of my face.
No, I'm not saying that. But like attraction aside, because we have our own standards of what is attractive to us. So that aside, we already established your attraction. Like, hey, that's a good looking man. I'm attracted to him.
Yeah.
So that aside,
yes.
What allowances do you give them in terms of where they are that will meet your minimum standards of you being able to then go on a date, let alone date them, flat out?
Oh, well, that's a very interesting question, but I can't put myself in that framework because when I'm assessing when I'm talking to a gentleman, when I'm talking to a man, obviously I am looking at, his entire presentation.
Yeah.
Can he hold a conversation? What is that conversation about? In what location? Like all of these things go into our brain when we're talking and evaluating. So the same thing with that. And if you come at me, wrong, or in a disrespect, or in a manner that's disrespectful in the setting, sometimes all manners of approach are disrespectful if you're in a certain.
Yes.
But aside
is key. Context is key.
But when we're making those evaluations we make, I'm not just dismissing. I may go out in 2 or 3 days. But if I know that I'm looking past the visual, I'm looking past a lot of that. If I find you attractive, like I find you attractive, but my attractive window is pretty, not because I'm lowering standards, but because I just see humans as different humans. Also, I used to be and so I was invisible to them.
Yeah.
And so that idea of just being like, I could probably still be invisible to a number of people. It doesn't matter.
So you're
But the way that what people fall for, I don't truly like. There'll be if there's a handsome man in there, I'll be like, okay, you're very handsome. You've seen me walk away from mid-conversation, in conversation from people that were very good looking. They give a fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Vacation time.
Yeah. There's another man around the corner. The shit that other people would find like attractive and be willing to overlook stuff with other people.
Yeah.
I can't say that all my ex-boyfriends are ugly because they're not. I found them attractive, but I also found their personalities attractive.
Yeah.
One was so absolutely so sweet and adorable. The other one, but like they were just really, really, and they still are cool people.
Yeah. Well, you hope.
Right. At least I hope so. I hope they're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing well.
I'm not asking
There you go. And see, that's also that, because some people cannot handle when the person that they're dating is friends with their exes. I have no problem with that. Well, again, mine were all platonic anyway, so I guess we were always only friends.
The structure, there's got to be some.
I just so that you know. I mean, no, no.
You could.
You can worship my toes.
There are people who enjoy every aspect.
Yes, yes.
Of human being.
ASMR, whatever that is, to my elbow.
I'm just saying when I I doubt that. Nope, no ASMR microphones. Not in this studio.
Yeah, not in this studio. But you know what? See, I should try that. I should try that.
You should.
You know.
I feel like the time to do it was definitely 2020, but there must be a very niche.
There's a niche.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they want to hear new words. And you have a very soul voice.
Oh, well, thank you. But, you know, I only have like airbrushing.
Oh, it's been thunder. Your voice has been thundering. I'm concerned about the audio levels from.
I know.
I usually
like. I know. Well, it's so funny because, you know, there are the people who they work with microphones.
I'm more of the adage of talk softly.
Oh no. How would you deal if some of that floated your boat? The only thing wrong was that they talk loud. Would that would you still be able to date them, or would you be like, okay, listen,
no,
we got to get it for your mouth.
I mean, no, I couldn't. Okay. I couldn't.
Okay.
Because I think I'm loud enough.
No, you're quiet.
I am extremely okay. So let me give you a little.
Yeah.
I live in a very quiet.
Yeah.
Neighborhood is extremely quiet. It's ridiculous.
I was supposed to have for that.
It's very quiet. So quiet. And you could hear stuff from down the street. You can hear conversations. You can hear people. Like I'm hearing people all of the time. And you would think that we were living on top of one another. But there's some space in between. But it's the entire neighborhood. Very quiet. Houses, very quiet, very quiet. But other parts of the city, very, very loud. There was a point that I was making, but I can't recall what
you're telling me that you're not always quiet.
Oh yeah, so I'm not always or
and my internal monologue
you would be
because my internal monologue is saying you loud.
I am not loud. No, I mean I am loud compared to this neighborhood. Okay. I'm loud compared to this neighborhood. I listen to my TV.
Yeah, I was scratching. I was doing my head. That was not
Yes. Yes. My neighbors have already heard this before it comes out.
That's all right because as long as they subscribe and share, hear it, boo, hear it. You know, bring it home. You know, they can be the midwives. So, but okay. So, but why if they're loud? What about that? If everything else works, and it's just that they talk loudly,
it would have to be something I overlook. But then I would have to go back to I can't overlook this. Why are you so loud?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like,
do you have a hearing? Is there a hearing impairment? Point being, is what would be the reason that it would be? But that person wouldn't make it past. But that barrier for me to be like, oh, you checked all of my boxes.
Yeah,
you have some no.
It's not maybe went on a date, I guess, because we've already established that I never been in my life. You know, platonic doesn't count and hookups don't count. And even out of hookups, it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I have 5 in every 10 years, and it's like, wait a minute, next year I can get laid, but it has to last at least an hour because it's got to last me another 50 years. So I really have to hope it over. But anyway, I digress. I went on a date with somebody who was in the lower 6 feet, like 6'2", 6'3", and I also had a date with someone that was less than 2. And so height does not matter. Uh,
Okay, so what are some of those non-negotiables?
well,
Or at least some of those things that because it sounds like you are really open to
yeah.
everyone, but what are you?
Well, I prefer somebody who's student ID with a, um, if they have removable teeth, I'll see if I can work around it, but, I'd like them to actually have teeth that are not removable.
Okay, so we got alive and teeth.
Yes, alive and teeth. Um, they don't have to talk a lot because I talk. So I don't mind, I get my yang when it comes to amount of conversation. However, I need someone with a sense of humor. They don't have to be funny, just have a sense of humor because I sometimes don't mind being foolish and acting a fool. And what I don't need is a parent. I don't need somebody like, you can't do that. Why'd you say? Because I'd be like, excuse me,
Right. You want someone who finds your foolishness funny.
or can appreciate it and not see it as I need to correct you when we're
That's good. That is good. A person that appreciates that.
yeah. They could be like, you know what, that really was funny, but it's so you.
Mhm.
So how could you say something?
Yeah.
See,
I think you're describing a friend in
I-
that instance.
a friend, but
Yeah.
wait a minute, no,
That's a friend quality.
think though.
You want your partner to be your friend? Yeah.
Isn't that what everybody says? I mean, my partner could be a total, like alien to me, but I don't know how we're going to get much done if I don't know.
Which is the attraction, or at least physical attraction, is not very on the list.
Well,
People who are conventionally attracted still should have good personality.
yeah, but I'll say, well, my question is, who defines conventionally attractive? Because your conventionally attractive might be different from his conventionally attractive. So you're still in a win-win, depending upon what it is.
But we know when we see.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the,
But even though physical attraction is
yeah,
subjective,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
There are still some guidelines, some framework that we all just say, oh, they're beautiful. And then if somebody is not saying that, at least answer,
mhm,
but it's when you start looking at when you start looking at the if a certain type of person
yeah, yeah.
or look is centered, then when we get out beyond that center and start getting into the outward layers, people begin to look different, or they look different from that
Well, yeah,
conventional or
yeah,
that traditional, whatever that
I
is.
think sometimes people
Right.
say, I see with it.
I see, right. And so outside of that, I think somebody with, a big nose, a widespread nose, is very handsome. Those who have like,
He loves him with this. He child. You got a honker. He be like, yes, let me lick that. I'm like, child, that's a booger. Like, I don't care if it's the nose. I love the nose. I'm like, okay, well, we'll never fight over that because I I could care less about that. Although that's a nice nose. But this for me, it's just one view.
right. So, and if someone has a big nose and turned off by,
Oh,
it's not like, does not make a big, I see it as like a nose. Big nose. If someone has a big nose and it fits their face, it's a small nose. If it's their face, it's, what I'm saying is those physical attractions.
yeah,
Yeah. Everybody looks different.
yeah.
Embracing everybody looking different. So, especially, I feel like when I moved to Los Angeles,
Mhm.
everyone in Chicago looked the same. They look the same. I could point to you and be like, you live over in this neighborhood. Your family is from here. Yada yada. I mean, that goes to how segregated it is, but it also is people kind of.
Chicago isn't really like New York and LA.
No.
That has a lot of transient traffic coming in and then going out.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Like I understand.
I'd probably say it's literally the, but
Yes, it is.
like New York,
It is.
but I feel like New York, you still
We're talking and sit
no
or
one's
St. Louis.
ever talking.
Do not get people hating us already.
So in New York, I feel like it's very,
Yeah, yeah. New York, you
there's not like, but I feel like there's not like a mix. You can go to that community. Like you can go to the community from one,
yeah,
or another community from one, or another community from one. So many islands
yeah,
that you can go to those communities.
yeah.
And like, oh, and then maybe you meet somebody who's from here or there, right? But I feel like in LA, you get this mixture of kind of like DC. You get this mixture of everybody from everywhere, and they look different.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone looks different.
That I would agree with. That I would, you know. Um, I think with New York, is what I have said often to people. Um, it it's it's pretending a little bit in terms of diversity, because while there are so many cultures that live in New York City, I want to say it's like triple digits. Like there are 170 languages that are spoken in New York City.
Okay.
Um, it's still largely segregated in that people live within their own communities, and it's sometimes it's like a punchline, because well, the Jamaicans live up on Dunhill Road and up Maple Way, and then you have the Dominicans in Washington Heights. You have the Jews in some part of Brooklyn. You have you know uh, uh, what is it? I'm trying to think of another group. Oh, the Polish in Queens, right?
I knew it. I knew it. We set up these cameras. And I said, he was like, oh, you can just put this camera right here. And I was like, no, you're going to be imaged. You're going to continuously be imaged. And I tried. So I maybe have been in a little bit of his shot this entire thing. This man just went just like all like that. And he was like, oh no, I won't move my hands when
That's what that word. That's what that word.
Now, what were you saying?
The point I'm saying is that all, as much as there's this immense and incredible diversity in New York City, all 5 boroughs, for the most part, the larger groups live within their own group, and depending upon your job and depending upon where you work, depends upon who you see, and that interaction and exchange, cultural exchange. So you could, as I said, you could be somewhere on like on the F train as it goes in. That's where a large Asian population. Because if you are it's a certain time of night, you get on that train and you are like, hey, right, and I'm the only person who's not, you know.
It's interesting. People feel safe in their community.
Oh yeah, no, they do.
Obviously, as humans, we want to be around the same. We want to feel reflected in.
Yeah, and
Race is probably one of those.
But I think that you're right to say people feel safe when they're, because for one, it's like you don't have to explain yourself because people already have a cultural base to work with. Even if you have Korean versus Chinese, whatever, still there's something that is common ground. Like with the Caribbean, you're from Jamaica, Barbados.
Is it the Caribbean or is it the Caribbean? Like, what is? And I say that as an educated person who didn't understand that Anguilla, Antigua, that was right off the coast. Was a right off the coast. There's an island that's right off the coast, like right off the coast.
Oh,
I did not know that they.
Oh yeah. Oh, Cuba's only like 50 miles away, I believe.
I knew conceptually that it was there, or I did. Yeah.
And the Bahamas, I want to say it's the Bahamas that run on the side of Florida. So they're
Nassau.
North.
That's why take a boat.
It takes no time to get there.
Yeah.
Jamaica is actually pretty far south when you think, because Jamaica is not under directly, but if Cuba's here and you have Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti here, Jamaica's like here. And it's like, oh, okay. And you have a bunch of smaller islands that are even closer to Mexico and Central America. I think Belize is
right off the coast of Brazil. No,
No. Belize is up in the in Central.
right. But it's where Brazil is closer to. It's where if I recall correctly, which I don't think I need to prove anything right now, but it's on the northern part of South America. But what is that? It's
You're thinking,
Guatemala's to the west.
you're thinking Guyana.
No,
Guyana is the one that's actually on the side above Brazil where you're talking. And Guyana, it's in some places, Guyana is treated as part of the Caribbean.
Aruba.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm thinking of Aruba.
yeah, yeah. And I've never been to Aruba. Maybe when I find the next person who wants to platonically date me for 3 months, we can go to Aruba.
And you should have put that on them.
Child, I ain't got time for no vision board. Vision boards do not come. No, I don't think vision board.
When are you gonna have?
Huh?
When are you gonna have time?
To what?
If we don't make time now,
Oh,
I wanted to do a podcast. I
yeah.
wanted to do a podcast.
And yeah. And I'm having a good time with it too, child.
But I set out to want to do it and do it. I want to do some shit with AI, and I'm doing it. And so I want to run 10 miles. I'm doing. And so,
And someone who used to run, like
where did you run?
huh?
Where did you run?
When
For who
did you run? I ran for myself. You want to know what's crazy? Okay, this is a quick aside. Quick aside.
Sure.
Because I wanted
Quick aside.
I want to get back to you and your list. When I was in the military, you have your 2 mile run as part of the PC. So when you're in training, basic or AI, you're doing your run with the company, and you don't realize how far you're running because you're running same cadence, and it's not a full run. It's just running in cadence with the rest of your platoon or whatever. And so when you get to taking your PT test, those 2 miles feel like nothing, absolutely nothing. And that was where I really found my love for running, because I was failure on the because they didn't know what to do with me. And I didn't know at that time that I should be running distance. And so, I joined the track team. They had me at the high jump, but my butt is huge. So I kept knocking the bar down when I would go to do my flop, flies when we flop. So then they said hurdles. So I tried to do the hurdles, but the hurdles were not cutting it, whatever. And so, bouncing around, just and so finally, we had we would do a road run from the high school to the stadium where the track was, and that was we had our inclines because New Jersey has mountains and hills and stuff. We had our inclines and all that kind of stuff for natural resistance, and that I would really enjoy because you're doing it several days a week, so you learn how it is, how long it takes, so you start to pace yourself and push yourself, because everybody wants to be the first person to get it.
Okay.
That's everyone's desire. But you learn very quickly that being the first person to get there usually means that you're going to be towards the end because you'll be out because you don't yet know how to pace yourself. I did not know yet how to pace myself. So when we had a track meet, that was a home meet,
Mhm.
and the other team, I guess not everybody showed up, whatever, and we had like one really really good distance runner who was like high ranking in all of New Jersey, whatever. They had me run that mile whatever with them.
Mhm.
And so what I ended up being was the rabbit that got everybody out that gate. And then, I came in 3 people before last because I didn't know about pacing. So when I went into the military and now we're doing these runs, in public information, etc. And every now and then we would do a free run for PT. I'm like running distances. I'm like it's nothing because I finally got the idea of pacing down, my breathing got right, and I found that running distance, you run through your whole foot, versus the shorter distances. The speed is on the toes. That's why a lot of distance runners are naturally thin, but their muscles are long versus like, the sprinters have amazing quads and thighs. And, the calves are usually less than the per leg.
So, so
I
what
still
you're,
have
so what you're saying,
is that I love a good leg. Child, let me tell you.
so what you're
If
saying,
you want my head to turn, just trust me. Like I will be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. I remember I was in Port Authority. I was getting the bus to go back to Jersey from New York. Because I was staying with my aunt at the time. Hey, auntie. I was staying with my aunt at the time, and I remember it's after 10, so we're in a different part of the bus depot, and I'm walking to the gate for my bus,
hmm,
and this guy was sitting, on the bench with talking to friends, and his calves were like this big, and I was like,
he had the boombox on his,
no, he did not have a boom box. That was an old fat white guy, but his calves were like this, and I just was like, wait a minute now, and I'm still walking to get to my gate, and I'm like, the further I walk, the further the distance. I'm like, oh, so when I finally get to my gate and have to wait another 15, 20 minutes for the bus to come, I kept doing this. I was like, I just need you to stand up so I can get a full assessment. Yeah, yeah. They take. But you were asking a question. So what I'm saying is,
so in order to become
uh,
something,
uh,
which was a good long distance runner,
yes,
you had to do the work,
yeah,
pacing yourself,
yeah,
learning how
right,
to run a million
yeah.
things, stuff that took time.
All the above.
But in the end, it helped you out so much.
Yes, yes.
So if we take that same measure and we just put that into your dating life, we could probably find you somebody that has half the size.
Well, within
They may just come walking.
they could come walking into my life. They just got to be right
Yeah.
because I have friends who are competitive body. I love muscle.
And you could mix them out. You could be like, once you have yourself worked out and you know your long distance running skill, you know how to be a long distance runner. You can just blow past these motherfuckers.
I see what we do. We do a metaphor and analogy. All right, child. So in my long distance running training, and I probably will work on conversation.
Hey, you ain't gotta put on what's gonna work out on the podcast. I give you a couple books. I give you a couple books.
Oh,
I got
you apparently have not seen my life. Like I have a whole section just on dating and relationships. I cannot with that. And there is one, I love the book. I love the book because it's written by a non-professional. Just a regular person who's like, I was having problems in trying to date in relationship. And I decided to put it down on paper. And so here you are. But he has the best analogy that I love. And I tell people this all the time. I'm talking to people. And
what is it? I want to hear it.
it is take your relationship like a roller coaster or like a you have your ups, you'll have your downs, and when the ride is over, it's it. So should it be a continual loop? Enjoy it, but when it comes to that end, remember the good times and not the bad and the bitter, whatever, and be like, okay, thank you for the ride, and give your Carl Burnett, I don't I don't think that's straight. I think
Okay.
yeah. Plus, there's only 7 people alive still that know.
Hey, Carol Burnett can take you to court and you'll have to prove
Let me tell you,
fair use
Albert,
of her earphone.
gosh, I am so glad they all these years. You're 27, and I know you watch me at Nick at Night, but the fact that you even know my name and how to spell it, go. There you go. There you go. So, okay, because I know you trying to get this.
No, absolutely not. I'm just trying to help you see,
Oh,
that you're already doing what you set out to do.
I see you. No, 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 no. I I see what you're saying. I do understand. Um, and I'll say this, like in terms of when I talk about what I'm attracted to,
Mm-hmm.
I have to separate it with external and internal because I, since I've, basically been alone for the 140 years I've been on this earth, I have found that let me try to be open. Let me try to be more open.
Uh-huh.
Maybe my parameters are too rigid. And, I've tried to